I want to be known as the bod father, so my ideal client would be that 45 plus or 35 plus male that's family centric, but he's a hostage to the dad bod. I mean, he may not be fat, but he's losing the waist war because it's either squishy and expanding or it's thin and it's still flabby. So I want to be able to come alongside and partner up with him, like Jesse Itzler did. He had David Goggins live with him for a month. I did fitness instruction for Navy SEAL support, so it won't be as hardcore, I guess, as living with a SEAL, but some 45 or 35 plus individual that's looking for that, I would be happy to accommodate them. You're the actualizer.
Oh, I appreciate you, man. Always. I try to do what I say. We live in a world where 99% of the people are just going to talk, and they're going to talk, and they're going to talk. But I appreciate you, man. Now you got me all fired up. We got to dive in.
Let's dive in.
Gasparilla Overload. We are continuing with a show favorite, Karlton, a guy I met at UT, have stayed in touch with over the years. He's a rock star in his industry, continuing to climb the ranks. Every year he gets older, he's getting a new accomplishment. It's out of this world. Karlton calls himself the Fit Gramps. Thank you for joining us again on That Entrepreneur Show.
Well, shoot, now that I've included the Ironman, like you said, every year I'm doing something different. So now I'm Ironman Gramps because I've got a rematch with the Ironman here in Augusta in September. So what Helene did, literally, I'm going to do figuratively. I'm going to tear that course up. They give me a whole extra year to train.
I can't wait to hear about the race, see you reap your rewards because you definitely deserve it all. And big shout out today to UT, the Load Center as well, always putting us together in the same room, whether it's an event or something. Everyone, I have to thank you so much for not only joining us for the Overload, but for joining us each week here on That Entrepreneur Show. I want to thank you so much for continuing to listen and make this show a top 2.5% global show. We are going to bring the heat again today with our show sponsors, JohnFord.com with his Empathy Card Set app and Coming Alive Podcast Production.com. But if you missed Karlton's first shows, they're in the episode description. Catch up on them so you can appreciate the growth he's going to share today. But if they missed the first few shows, Karlton, start with the basics. What do you do? Let's talk about your company.
What I do stems from what I could not do. So as a child, as a baby, I had birth defects. So I had what they call a pyloric stenosis where I couldn't hold down formula. So the doctor was not just amazed that I was living. He was amazed that I was gaining weight. So then my mom discovered I've got a club foot. So enter the braces. And along with those braces, I learned how to walk with that bar, with my feet strapped to a bar. So she knew early on I was not going to take life sitting down. But once I outgrew the braces, I had a lot of athletic ambition and zero athleticism. So I knew early on in high school football, I was going to get a full ride. I was going to ride that bench for the full game. After I got out of high school, went into the Navy, cut my teeth as a fitness instructor for Navy SEAL support. And as they say, the rest was history. Worked with the Navy's remedial program. So people who fail to meet the minimum fitness requirement of push-ups and sit-ups, or they failed the height and weight standard, i.e. they were overweight or obese, they got to work with me, and we developed a 90% success rate for those sailors on that program. So I got both ends of the fitness continuum. I had the elite warrior athlete and the condition about to lose their career sailor. And I just brought that information to the public sector. Then I got an undergraduate in exercise science, a master's in exercise and nutrition science. That way, I knew I would have the credentials and the terminology to explain what I was doing. Although they say never explain and never complain, I did coach people through with a kind of hands-on approach. They start to see results that exceeded their expectations, and that story continues to this day.
Love it. Well, congratulations on your continued success. It's great to see. Everyone stick around to the end, find out where he's online because he puts out motivational posts. And I'm not on social much, but the algorithm does love Karlton. There's a few people that always pop up, so I got to see their posts. So I absolutely love that. What are some things you're working on right now?
In light of being the Olympic hopeful at age 49 showcased by NBC and not having the Olympics in 2020, as I said, the Ironman has become kind of the placeholder for now to cut my time in half for this upcoming Ironman. Didn't have the best showing last year, but I was the mayor. I was making friends and shaking hands. I was eating my way through the course for the bike and the run, which I walked most of. So that's the main thing, to give a respectable showing for a 5-year-old grandpa and then see if I can get sponsored.
I love it. Well, so everybody can get ready to tune in, are there ways to watch this online?
That is a good question. I mean, the news was there. They typically keep an eye on the lead pack for the professionals. I'm going to be competing as an amateur triathlete, and a lot of people say you don't look as old as you are. So maybe if I move fast enough, I can get some footage that way. Just kind of hang in behind those guys.
What lessons can you share that overlap between your fitness journey and then, of course, running your business? Where are the parallels?
Well, I think with Dr. Rebecca White telling us to learn how to pivot and to fail fast and to fail frequently. I was fluent in failure by the time I started entrepreneurship from, the athletic side of the house. And so to take failure as a dress rehearsal and as homework, what do I need to improve upon? And because I could see what I was doing was changing people's lives, I was determined to do it. So it was finding out what hurdles I had to overcome to make that and to continue to make that a possibility for the public to be able to work with me.
I love that. Just finding a way to succeed, never giving up. That's what he stands for. Now, at this point in your entrepreneurial career, you're a seasoned entrepreneur, you found your success. What advice do you have for people who aren't beginners anymore? They've scaled their business and now have to pivot, like you just said, finding new ways to succeed.
I would say if they can, build a team and outsource. Like this is marketing and advertising, and you have the antennas of a lot of people. And so in a sense, we're a team, but we're not in the same business. So if they can find ways to collaborate with individuals that can help them expand their reach, they can share networks, and the team is going to be vital. People say if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, you're going to need a team. And that is what I would say. You may be a team of one, but don't stay a team of one. Find ways to collaborate with other people.
Absolutely. Great advice there. Try to get yourself in front of new networks, just like podcasting. When you guest on a show, now you go back in front of somebody else's audience. And I think that's always one of the biggest benefits of podcasting. Me and myself trying to do more guesting appearances this year to get my message in front of new people, because we have our social networks, our audience, and they're target customers or they're not. And there's no hard feelings. So to get ourselves in front of new places is super important, collaborating with different people. Do you see yourself doing anything new to the business once your race is completed? Are we just keep rocking on, or what's the latest there?
Well, what I'm trying to do is be an entrepreneur. There's a gym down here called Endurance Fitness. It was previously a burn camp. Oh, it's locally owned. There are a couple of other branches right next door in South Carolina. So to go in and pose the question, would it be too outrageous to talk about increasing the traffic to your gym without increasing your current budget spending? Because they're going to be like, this guy's crazy. But I can make a revenue stream for myself if I have access to an audience. And if they say no, there's a Salvation Army fitness center in the area. And if that doesn't pan out, then it's like take my stretch chair and go to corporations and say, hey, you can offer wellness to your employees without any build. You don't have to build a space. You don't have to purchase any equipment. Let me come in and help improve their productivity and decrease their workman's compensation.
What's your favorite part of these group settings when you get to go in there and help these people all at once?
I think the fact that they get more than they bargained for. I try to individualize group training and give particular attention to the people who need it the most. Because you're going to have people at various fitness levels. So the ones that kind of come in and are ready to go, I just kind of keep an eye on them. But I go over to the ones that are struggling, give them some on-hand coaching cues. And I remember everyone's name. So I'll go around the room when the class starts. when the class finishes, if I've forgotten a name, I've got to do push-ups with somebody on my back. And I pray that there's light people in the class. But I've only had to do push-ups 3 times out of, I would say, like 7 years. So that makes an impact. It's like, he knows everybody's name. And they all got the attention they needed.
That's so true. I try to use people's names as much as I can when I'm speaking or in an email or something once or twice. Let's talk more about the power of using names that you've seen.
I think because that's the sweetest sound to most people's ears is their own name. And the fact that they're not just a number. They're not just, hey, you, hey, guy, hey, lady. Because we can make up nicknames like the Dieselette, hey, Baconator, come here. And it's kind of cute, but the impact that lasts the most is their own name. You connect with them, you care enough to learn it, and it's different. You know, they don't see people addressing them by their name unless they already know those people. So you're making it a point to be in that circle of people that they consider close and dear.
And to get to that point, you have to continue to grind and pivot and fine-tune your offerings to attract the right people. I'd love to ask you about one of your greatest lessons learned, because I probably asked you way back on your first episode with me, and now we've had a few in between. Maybe a lesson learned that's happened more recently that we could share with our audience here on That Entrepreneur Show.
You know, for transparency's sake, you know, I've mentioned that I'm going to be 55, but I'm learning my deficits. Like, I don't have social skills. You know, I kind of contend with anxiety. When I have a huge goal, like pursuing the Olympics or earning a master's degree, it's easy to hyper focus. But now I get some time with myself and I'm like, wow. So I think realizing that you're not always going to be 100%. You're not always going to be at the peak of the mountain. You're going to have challenges that get the better of you sometimes. And knowing that that's going to be okay. You know, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but you just keep moving and you kind of increase your fluency with failure with each opportunity that or each challenge that gets the better of you. But it also reveals the resilience that resides within us. We just say, look, I guess I had that coming. What do I need to do to keep moving and do that? I mean, when I see you, that's what I think of. I mean, you get run over, you get hospitalized, you learn anew the things that were once familiar to you, and then you go on and finish your MBA. It's like, man, I didn't get run over by a vehicle. I don't have an excuse. Let's keep going. Let's prioritize. Let's focus. And I like how you structure your day. You know what you're going to be doing, and you have those hard stops. And so that's what I try to do for myself, but in smaller windows.
Yeah, I appreciate the kind words always. You're a great friend. And one of the things, and eventually it's on the list to make a post about it, some things that really changed my life, changed my business. And I'm not over here saying I'm famous, Jeff Bezos, anything like that. But the time blocking is crazy. I have a little whiteboard, the little Amazon packs, $5 for a few of them. And I write out, for me, it's a little earlier than most, but 3-4, 5, all the way through the end of my day. The day before I wake up. That way, when I wake up, I see exactly what I'm doing. I don't waste time. I have assigned email breaks where I'm going to be checking my email. You can go down an email hole, a social media rabbit hole very, very easily, answering whatever, and then you're not getting anything done. So for me, it's just being very intentional. And the only way you'll be this hard on yourself is if you're like Karlton, you're dedicated to your mission, you're dedicated to your goal, and you're trying to just find ways to succeed. It's a simple hack. It costs nothing to do. It may not work for you, everyone out there, but I do challenge you to time block the night before. You're strategizing, you're reflecting, you're trying to make it worth your time. And the same even now, because I'm doing more sales now that I've built the team trying to tackle that monster. What times of the day should I be prepping lists and working with my lead setters, and what times should I actually be calling and emailing? So if I'm going for, say, psychiatrist owners, they're not going to be able to answer during the day. I have to try to get them in the morning or in the evening, right? So why am I going to do a different task during that time when that's the most value coming out of that time? Work in progress, though. I mean, it's always a fine-tuned machine, like you said. Who would you say, Karlton, if someone's really loved this episode, who is your target client right now? Who can you add the most value to?
I should have said this earlier, but I want to be known as the bod father, you know, so my ideal client would be that 45 plus or 35 plus male that's family centric, but he's a hostage to the dad bod. I mean, he may not be fat, but he's losing the waist war because it's either squishy and expanding or it's thin and it's still flabby. So I want to be able to come alongside and partner with him, you know, like Jesse Itzler did. He had David Goggins live with him for a month. You know, I did fitness instruction for Navy SEAL support, so it won't be as hardcore, I guess, as living with a SEAL. But, you know, some 45 or 35 plus individual that's looking for that, I would be happy to accommodate them.
I love it. Well, Karlton, I got to thank you so much for coming back to Gasparilla Overload. If there's anyone out there celebrating, please be safe and have fun. Before we go, got to ask it again. Favorite Gasparilla memory? Have you ever done one out here?
No, but when I ran track at UT, that was the highlight for a lot of people on the track team. I'm like, why would I go run an event when I'm on a college track team? I guess that's what happens when you're older. You're a grandpa on the track team. But I think the people that I've met who have actually done it, my wife did it, as a matter of fact. So I've got the T-shirt and the green bag, and I've got a cruise book that I found at a bookstore, because it really captivates the town. So you can't be there and not know about it. And I think this year they're doing something in Chicago with the alumni. The alumni in Chicago are going to kind of do a satellite Gasparilla deal. So just the people and the energy.
I love it. You said it perfectly. It brings everybody together. It's a citywide event. Thank you so much for sharing that. Online, where can we find you?
We are on Instagram. I believe it's Karlton Meadows or Gold Medals. And on LinkedIn, which is where I'm at most, Karlton Meadows. And periodically I'm on Facebook with the same name, Karlton Meadows with a K.
Hey, everyone, go connect with him. He's on LinkedIn the most, he said. He's got a lot to offer, puts out a lot of great content, on his timeline. This is That Entrepreneur Show. Please like, subscribe, share the episode with a friend if you enjoyed today's show. We are coming back each and every week. We're on all social media at That Entrepreneur Show, so connect with us there too. My name is Vincent A. Lancy, and you can learn more about me on social media at my name or vincentalancy.com. Today's partners are johnford.com and comingalive podcastproduction.com. We'll see you tomorrow on another episode of the Gasparilla Overload. Karlton, thank you so much.
All right. Hey, it's great to be here. It's great to reminisce and to anticipate the upcoming Gasparilla.